engage our young people across the state of California to really tackle and dive in and help give input and solve some of our biggest issues, and understanding how important it is to have feedback and have engagement from our young people. We also have California Volunteers, which oversees the California Service Corps, and that includes programs that many of you, I think I heard 51% of you are engaged with. Maybe you host a fellow or you're somehow involved as a partner, where we have now service members who are paid to be involved in their community, to serve, to volunteer, to help out. And we have programs like College Corps, where we're providing debt-free pathways to young people who are serving at our food banks, they're serving in our schools, tutoring and mentoring, they're serving in our parks, and they're helping out. We have a Climate Corps program, we have a Youth Service Corps program for non-college track young people to serve, and we have our AmeriCorps programs that have been involved and deeply embedded in this community for so long. And all together right now, California Volunteers runs a service corps that is now bigger than the entire Peace Corps right here just in California. And the Sacramento community is such a fundamental and foundational part of that. And then we have, as part of Go Serve, OCPSC, which is who has brought us together today, who's convened us all today, and who has made today possible. And what we understand in this Governor's Office of Service and Community Engagement is that beyond serving and beyond creating opportunities to empower people, to engage them, to serve in their community, we have to think about, how do we actually engage communities? How do we actually engage people? And that's hard work. And the truth is, we don't totally know. We're trying to figure it out. But what today is about is we want to figure it out with you. We need to figure it out with you. And here's what we do know about engagement. We do know that if we're going to engage what we think of as our most important asset here in the state of California, the reason we have the fourth biggest economy in the entire world, which is our 40 million people that call California home, that in order to engage them, we have got to do a better job of making resources available to our people. We have to make it easier for them to get it from our very complicated systems and our websites that can be overly complicated sometimes. We have to make it easier to get in the language that people speak. We have to make it easier for people to get information where they are, as you heard from Aubrey. And so we understand that we need to make resources easier for people to access. That's what today's about. We also understand that if we're going to actually engage people and engage communities, of which you are on the front lines of leading, we have to break down silos. Too often, government is siloed from each other, even within government. Government is siloed from the community groups on the ground that are doing the actual work. And community groups on the ground are too often get siloed from the individuals that we're trying to reach. So today is about thinking, how do we break down those silos? How do we do this differently and intentionally? We also believe very strongly that in order to engage differently, in order to engage our communities in new ways, we have to build new ecosystems. We have to build new networks. That's what today is about. It's about building relationships. And so my hope is when you walk away from today, in fact, let me do this right now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to call a quick audible. If every single one of you can turn to the person on your right and to the person on your left, would you give them a big high five? I want to see a lot of high fives right here. There you go. I want to see those high fives. I love it. Excellent. I saw some high tens in the back. That's what today's about. Today is about meeting someone you haven't met before, a new partner, a new friend, someone who you're going to walk in this journey with, who you've never connected with before, and give them a high five, because as you just felt, the smiles I just saw in this room, when you give someone a high five, when you lift them up, when you help them access resources, when you say you are here to serve and help them, it makes everyone feel good. And we're all happier, and we're all better for it. And that's what we need to accomplish today. So we are in this really, really sort of important moment in I think in our state and our country's history. And we need to send a clear message today. That when DC is shutting down, California is stepping up for our communities. That we are going to power up our communities. And you all are on the front lines of making that possible, and we recognize that. We value that. We value you. And most importantly, we need you. We need you to help us figure out how do we break down these silos. We need to figure out how do we engage differently so we understand that engagement is by no means a one-way street. It can never be a one-way street. It is a two-way street where we are here today to learn from you, to get better at this with you, to walk with you. And we need you to stay connected to each other. And that's what today's about. So, walk away today with new friends. That's your challenge. Walk away with a new partner. Walk away with someone you haven't connected with before. And figure out how do we do this work better together. I now have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing a leader, someone who has been embedded in this community for a very long time.